Welcome to Business Blur Review and the Women Running Businesses podcast. My name is Francisca Lee, and I'll be your host. If this is your first time listening to Women Running Businesses, we are a weekly podcast that brings successful female entrepreneurs in every week to dive deeper into their minds. So, stick around to hear authentic and honest conversations surrounding entrepreneurship, and make sure to subscribe to stay in the loop. Today, we have a very special guest, Bethany Simpson. Beth is a social media influencer with over 500,000 followers on TikTok. Along with being an influencer, Beth is a student at Columbia College Chicago. We're so happy to have you on here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course. So for anyone who follows you on TikTok, they all know you have an incredible creative range from, singing to dancing to acting. Tell me about how you got your start in the fine arts.
Yeah, for sure. So, I started doing shows as young as 13 years old. I would do musicals, plays, speech and drama. But I think the moment I knew performing was what I wanted to do was when I was 14 years old. I got an incredible opportunity to dance in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City. Yeah, which was the most amazing experience. And as I was walking down the streets of New York, we got to kind of walk through the streets before we got to our performance venue. And I was waving at people and stuff. And I just got this overwhelming feeling of this is what I need to do. This is what I need to be doing for my entire life, is just performing no matter what the cost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of, different arts colleges. How did you choose which one you wanted to go to?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to move to a city. I'm from a fairly small town in Kentucky, so moving out of state was always the plan. I think the difficult part was deciding what city, because New York is a little scary of a transition from Kentucky to New York City was a lot.
Right.
So I settled on Chicago as a happy medium. And I figured that if I could adjust to the city of Chicago, maybe in a few years when I graduate, it'll be much easier to transition to a bigger city like New York or LA.
Yeah, so I heard you were planning on moving out to LA after graduation. What's the main reason for your move, and why'd you choose LA over, say, New York?
Yeah, it's crazy. New York really always was kind of the end goal. Especially when I chose Chicago, it's always it's that stepping stone, But I think I was very one-track minded going into college. I was very set on musical theater performance and singing, acting, dance. That's all I wanted to do all 4 years, all the time. And I think New York is a great place for that. You have Broadway, you have off-Broadway, you have a ton of regional theaters out there. There's so much opportunities for the theater industry. But I wound up going in the LA direction just this past year because I've kind of come to the realization that I have so many more interests outside of just that musical theater bubble. So, there's social media that kind of came out of nowhere. Along with film acting is also really incredible. There's awesome opportunities in that realm. I'm very interested in teaching as well. So I feel like LA is a better place to explore that variety of things as opposed to New York City.
For sure. And there's so many opportunities out there in LA.
Absolutely.
So I'm not too personally familiar with, what art school is like. My only background comes from watching Victoria's over and over again. Can you share a little bit about what it's like going to art school and what your day-to-day might look like?
Yeah, it's Victoria's is a pretty accurate depiction. But obviously I never attended a high school, a fine arts high school. It is
right.
College scenario. So the cool thing about my specific art school is that our campus is spread throughout downtown Chicago. So it's not like your standard college campus where you just kind of have all your buildings and your dorms all in one area. It's the city is your classes, it's spread throughout downtown. So I guess a normal day in the life of an art student would be like waking up, go to class. You might have like, as a theater major, you might have like voice for the actor or musical theater workshop or scene study, voice lessons, stuff like that. So go to those classes. We do still have to take gen eds, just not as
Mhm.
much as regular college students do.
Right.
So I could very well be going to like a math class or an English class as well. It's just not as much our focus. Um, and then after class, normally there's a small break for like, lunch or dinner. And then most days I am headed to rehearsal from around like 6:30 to 10:30-ish p.m., depending on what shows there are that semester that I'm cast in, or like just what opportunities the school has at that time. So
Right.
you're always creating, always creating.
That's so cool. And
Yeah.
I know with the pandemic happening, a lot of, traditional colleges like myself, we switched to remote learning. I'm doing college from home.
Hmm.
How did that shift? Did the pandemic really affect much for you guys?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think when the pandemic hit, a lot of the professors didn't really know quite how to proceed because we have like singing and dancing classes within the musical theater major. So like how do you then put that on remote learning? So I mean, we found ways to adjust. Most of it is like having to pre-record yourself like singing or doing a monologue as opposed to doing it live and in person. But it's very difficult, definitely harder to learn, but we're finding ways. I think as time has gone on, it's gotten easier and a little bit more normal, but it's still very very odd to have to take a dance class in your own room with your instructor like on a screen.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, let's shift over to talk about TikTok and social media.
for sure.
Did you start TikTok with the intent of becoming an influencer, or did it just sort of happen? You went, that's super cool. Let's see what I can do with it.
Yeah, it's like that's like one of those, it's like yes and no. I mean, I started it as a quarantine hobby. I always joked. I was like, I'm so bored during quarantine. I'm just gonna blow up on TikTok. I'm just gonna do whatever it takes by all means. I'm just gonna blow up. I'm gonna do it. I told all my friends, I was like, just watch. I'm gonna have a viral video. I'm gonna blow up. It'll be fine. But then it actually happened. And I was like, oh, I don't really know where to go from here. But I think my this business and marketing side of my brain that I didn't even know I had kind of kicked into high gear and was like, okay, well now that you've had this one viral video, what can I do like with my platform now, with my account to ensure that I continue growing and that this wasn't just like a one-time thing. And it was just kind of like a natural instinct I had. And I think once I saw that, like that rise in following, that rise in view count, that definitely piqued my interest in taking it towards the direction of becoming an influencer or exploring the possibilities of monetization within social media.
For sure. And I think people really do underestimate how much of a business mindset
Yeah.
it really takes to be an influencer.
Yeah, it's so much. There's so much to think about that goes into creating content and brand deals and sponsors. There's a lot that you just don't see behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. And have you monetized your TikTok yet?
I mean, I'm part of the creator fund, if that's I guess that does count as
For
monetization.
sure.
I do get money for views, which is awesome. But the creator fund is very very minimal. You're getting like $1 for every like 33,000 views.
Right.
So I think the main like source of income I'm getting from TikTok does come from the brands that reach out to me and those opportunities.
Yeah. What's a dream brand that you want to work with?
Oh my gosh, a dream brand. Uh I love, okay. there was this one influencer forever ago that endorsed it's like called Teamy. It's like a little like it's like a detox tea. I
Mm-hmm.
took that tea and I was absolutely obsessed with it. And I think that like some sort of tea or like makeup or skincare, like um Morphe would be incredible, or like cosmetics or tea or coffee brands, any coffee brand. Oh my gosh, I would freak out if a coffee brand reached out to me one day. That would just be insane.
Yeah, that would be
It's
so
possible.
cool.
Crazier things have happened. I mean, I'm here sipping on my like Charlie right now. It's insane. Like,
For sure. Do you remember which one of your videos that kind of really blew up your account? Like, was it one specific video, or was it like a lot of them just slowly gaining views and gaining followers?
yeah, it was definitely one specific video. And I've since remade the same video, and it's the recreation of it is my most viral one to date. And it's a drinking game for the movie The Kissing Booth on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. And it is a very good drinking game. I can attest. I'm of age, and I can attest that it is a great game to play. But yeah, every time, whether it's a repost or a recreation of that TikTok, every time it goes viral. Which is, it's ironic that my most viral video is a drinking game, because my audience is so young now, that I know none of them are actually like able to play this drinking game, at least the way it's intended to be played. Um, but yeah, those are definitely my most viewed videos to date. I think it's like 3.8 million now views.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And having a younger fan base, how do you kind of like internally like, figure out what you put out there if it's something that's possibly like, PG-13? Do you just put it out there and kind of hope that they use their own discretion to, not watch? Or how do you like navigate that?
Yeah, that's been a bit difficult, because I think that sometimes your audience is out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, all the time your audience is really out of your control. So falling into that to that young girl demographic was like, it wasn't really something that I could have planned for. Obviously, I started out doing drinking games.
Right.
Um, so I was a little careful as soon as I like was noticing that that was my main audience. I made sure to, refrain from cursing or like showing myself drinking or any sort of thing like that, just because I want to promote a fairly clean image. I want to be like an influencer that these girls can show their parents, and the parents will be like, oh, okay, she is a positive influence on my kid. Like, I am okay with them watching her videos. Which is a little difficult sometimes, because I do have that aesthetic of kind of like pop punk, and I really love like leather jackets and dark makeup and crazy hair and stuff. But I think it's just making sure that they know that my personality shines through my style and maybe my like outer um image and stuff. But I do make sure to censor a bit more now that I am super aware of that audience.
For sure. Where does your inspiration for your TikToks come from?
Oh gosh. Just like inspiration for what I post, or
In general, like what you post, what types of videos you film, that
yeah.
type of stuff.
Okay, yeah. I think lately it has been like my inspiration has come from my school and my classes, honestly. Because I've been able to kind of shift my brand, obviously from the drinking games to kind of like the art school victorious acting kind of standpoint of it all, which is awesome, because I do this whole series too, where it's like I go to an art school, so I turn this in as homework, and it's like a self tape that I turned in for a class, and people like love it. And I just think that's so cool that I am able to like document my progress, and like I'm able to post my homework onto my TikTok, and people are just super supportive of like, and know that it's a process too. Like I'm not at my best, like I'm still working towards being this awesome actor and stuff, but it's great to feel inspired just because I know I have a platform where I can share my art.
Right. It's almost like kind of having a scrapbook you could go back and look at,
Yeah,
in a
it's
year or so.
progress tracker.
For sure. Have being, in a larger city, have you had any weird isn't the right way to put it. Just like have anybody recognized you from TikTok and be like, oh my God, that's the girl that does, the Victoria's POVs on TikTok.
I have only had someone recognize me once. Of course, it was a young girl at my job when I was waitressing. She recognized me from TikTok, but I mean, other than that, I feel like I haven't been out and about too much in the city since things have started opening up, because Chicago
Right.
has been a bit slower for them to like lift the restrictions. So no, I have not. And I'm kind of nervous. I started another new job the other day, and I'm like, proceed with caution. I don't know, because I don't know how like to react to that. It's so crazy to think that I like have enough of a spotlight on me to where a kid could be like, oh my gosh, you're Beth Simps. Like, I don't know. It's insane. But yeah, it's happened once, and
That's crazy.
maybe more. Stay tuned.
So I'm assuming that like your professors have probably seen your videos from time to time.
Yeah, they have.
What do they think about it?
Oh my gosh, they are so supportive. Some of my professors actually call me by my TikTok handle now. Like, I raise my hand in class, they'll be like, Beth Simps, and I'll just get all flustered. But I mean, yeah, they think it's awesome because, like I said, I am using my platform to showcase my art, and I think like the fact that I'm able to use that account to like further my initial career with like theater and film acting and stuff is awesome. But they do like to, some of the ones that I'm closer with and like I've had classes with for years and years now, do like to give me some crap about it, just to make me like blush and stuff, because I don't know how to, I don't know, I'm still not super used to being in the spotlight like that. So like it's crazy, but it's awesome. I'm thinking about trying to see if there's a way to put like my senior showcase on like a YouTube stream or something, or like a TikTok stream to like showcase mine and my colleagues artwork. I just think that would be, it would be super awesome to be able to do that. So I think that having that and being able to offer that to my class is like so cool.
That's just so cool. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, so awesome.
How do you balance being in school and being a creator and working?
Oh my gosh, I don't.
I feel that.
Yeah, it's like it's hard. I'm a full-time student too. Like 19 credit hours this semester, while trying to keep up with my personal brand content creator wise, as well as running the Business Blurb Women TikTok page.
Yes.
So doing those and then also starting a new job, it's all about like taking it day by day. So each night I will literally just sit there in bed for 15 minutes and I will be like, okay, what do I need to finish tomorrow to make sure that I am set for the day after that, like not stressing about the big weekly picture, and just kind of being like, okay, what do I need today for tomorrow? What do I need tomorrow for the next day? And so on.
Right. It's like it's almost not even worth it to be worrying about like 2 or 3 days in advance. Just one day at a time.
I will stress myself out.
So have you ever dealt with creative burnout?
Oh, absolutely. I've had such bad burnout. I was dealing with it a lot, like theater wise, actually, before I started TikTok, which is why I'm so grateful that I did end up starting my TikTok page, I think, because it gave me a creative outlet in a way I'm not used to having a creative outlet. But yeah, I was so sick of theater. Going to school for the same thing for 4 years is absolutely exhausting. Especially when it is what you do, like you go to class for it, you go to rehearsals for it. I was working a job for 3 years at Broadway in Chicago, so I would also go to work, and it was just theater, theater. Um, so yeah, burnout is very, very real. And it's so difficult to bounce back from it too. Like you really just have to tell yourself it is okay to take a break creatively whenever you need it. But it's so real, and I think a lot of creators underestimate like the intensity of it all and how much of a overall effect it can really have on your career.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of friends that are also content creators?
Um, I like to think I do. Yeah, I mean, I've connected with quite a few people online from TikTok. I have a friend from Scotland now, which is crazy. Like that's something I never thought I would say. Like, yeah, I got really close with a girl from Scotland.
Yeah, just casually, Scotland.
I know, crazy. And Devin also used to be one of my like favorite like creators that I would look up to, and now I'm like working with him on him and Brendan on Business Blurb, which is like it's still crazy to wrap my head around sometimes that I really did like start from the bottom, and like now I'm here making these awesome connections and stuff. So yeah, I would say I've made quite a few relationships. Very grateful for them all.
For sure. Have you had a chance to collab with any other TikTokers?
No, but I am like itching for the day I am able to. I'm gonna be in LA next week to visit and find a place for live and I find a place to live. I have a couple of people out there I am looking at collabing with. But we will see. We'll see what happens. Oh, it would be so cool. Hopefully.
For sure. Putting on the spot here, who are 3 TikTokers that you'd love to collab with?
Oh gosh. Duke, Willy Wonka TikTok. Um, Noah, what's his name? Noah D, the one that dumps a Charlie on himself every day. And probably Devin too. Yeah. That's 3.
Hopefully that'll happen maybe next week when you go to LA.
I know. Fingers crossed. Be crazy.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Do you ever feel like you're posting content that you're not like super passionate about and you're only putting it out there because your audience wants to see it?
Yes, I am so guilty of that. I feel like all creators are a bit guilty of that. But I think sometimes I definitely upplay, I guess. Is that the opposite of downplay? Upplay my
Yeah.
my love for Victorious. I do love the show, but I am by no means a super fan. I just kind of turned into a Victorious stan account because of the whole, oh, you look like Jade thing. So I think that's definitely emphasized a little bit on my end. But I mean, I'll tell anyone who wants to know like how I truly do feel about like certain things, and I would never put anything out there that I really, really wasn't feeling. But it is difficult sometimes because you do have to weigh your options. Like if you're itching for views and you really need that monetization, then sometimes you got to do what you got to do,
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I know your TikTok's been bombarded with this question a bunch of times, but least favorite Victorious episode?
Oh my gosh. I just posted a question or like a TikTok answering this actually. My least favorite Victorious episode is, and people judge me for this all the time, but it is Freak the Freak Out. And I know we got some real good songs from that episode, but I just think the hour-long thing for Victorious was very unnecessary, and I just think it drags on quite a bit.
For sure.
Yeah. That's so funny. What a funny.
So, how do you deal with hate as an influencer? I'm not sure if you've got any hate, I have no idea, but like just as an influencer, how do you kind of navigate that?
Yeah. I think I'm like, having come from a musical theater background, I'm fairly used to like criticism um on a lot of levels. However, it has never come in like the form of like hate. Like my professors would never hate on me, they would critique me. um
Right.
so I think I do receive hate comments, as a creator. All of us do, but it's it's very, it's not something you can let get to you. I just like to ignore it, honestly. But it's hard, like it's difficult because you can't really, it's out of your control. But I think it's definitely the way that you deal with it and the way you respond to it that speaks volumes about who you are as a person. And I personally would rather not like give any of those comments the time of day. So I just ignore, block if it's like really bad. Um, but yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, getting hate comments is part of how you know you're kind of making it up there.
I totally agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you're planning on moving out to LA, would you ever consider joining a content house?
I think that sounds like a blast. Um, probably it would probably come with a bit of drama. But it would keep things very interesting. And I am all for, after, like post graduation and stuff, I am all for just like running after content creation and chasing that dream as much as I like can while TikTok is still this relevant. So yeah, if I was ever given the opportunity, I would love to join a content house.
Would you ever try and create your own?
I have never thought about that, but yeah, if I ever got the investment money, then yeah, that would be that's.
True. Yeah. So, what can we expect to see from Beth Sims in the next, say, 2 to 5 years?
2 to 5 years. Wow. Um, that's so difficult because there's so many routes I could see my life going in that amount of time. uh I'm gonna keep growing. I know I am too, because I'm determined to keep growing, so I am going to keep growing, just as a person and as a creator, on all platforms. I would love to gain a following on YouTube. I really really love that platform. I would love to gain more of a following on Instagram, maybe do more photo shoots and post more content on there. And I want to audition. I want to audition for as many things as possible when I go to LA. So expect to hopefully see me on screen or in a theater near you, and posting TikToks about every single one of those experiences, of course.
Yes, I'm hoping that for you. I can't wait to see you
Thank
accomplish
you
all of
so
that.
much.
And I think with that, this is a great place to end the episode. Beth, I'm so glad we're finally able to have you on here. And thank you so much for sharing what it's like going to a fine arts college, as well as being a TikTok
Oh, thank you so
influencer.
much for having me. It was a blast.
Well, yeah. For our listeners, make sure to tune back in next week for a new episode of Women Running Businesses.